Tonight, major implications. We're digging into a nationwide study happening in Duluth that could have a big impact on how COVID-19 is treated.
And Minnesota is set to take center stage. Both presidential candidates are in Minnesota tomorrow. We're hearing from their respective parties.
And lawyering up. The man shot by a Duluth police officer over the weekend is hiring legal representation.
From CBS3 Duluth, this is the CBS3 News at 6.
Good evening, I'm Kristen Baki.
And I'm Anthony Matt. Thanks for joining us. Party reps from both sides of the aisle are speaking out ahead of tomorrow's dueling presidential candidate visits.
On the Republican side, 8th District Representative Pete Stauber spoke out. He says the Obama-Biden administration was devastating for the region. Stauber says Biden has not come out in support of projects like Enbridge's Line 3 replacement or proposed copper-nickel mining, unlike President Trump.
It was the Obama-Biden administration that made the statement that these mining and manufacturing jobs are going away and they're not coming back. And it took this president to say no to those dangerous policies.
On the Democratic side, Duluth Mayor Emily Larson discussed Joe Biden's visit to the city. Larson believes Biden spent his career supporting working families and kids while Trump exploited them. She says Biden knows how important this region is to the election because he's been here many times and knows it reflects his values.
But it's also a chance for him to re-engage with us as it relates to the economy and job creation and the coronavirus and the absolute disastrous national response that we've had to this pandemic.
Larson says voting is everyone's civic opportunity and responsibility.
Meanwhile, early voting starts tomorrow in Minnesota. It runs through November 2nd, just one day before the election. You have a few different options when it comes to casting your ballot during the pandemic. The city of Duluth is encouraging people to vote by mail. You can do that by requesting an absentee ballot. So far, city officials say they've received 15,000 requests, which is a record amount. The city will start mailing those ballots tomorrow. And starting tomorrow, you can also vote early in person at City Hall or at your precinct on Election Day. Duluth's city clerk says no matter how you vote, it will be safe.
Vote from home is certainly the safest way that you can vote, but you can also come in person to Duluth City Hall. We'll be open 8 to 1 Monday through Friday, and you can cast your ballot in person here, or you can go to your polling location on Election Day, and we've implemented a number of health and safety measures to ensure that folks can do that safely.
If you do choose to vote by mail, you're asked to make sure your ballot is postmarked by October 26th. But Duluth City Clerk says any ballots postmarked on or before November 3rd will be accepted until the close of business on November 10th. Voters can also deliver their absentee ballot to Duluth City Hall. There's also a way to see if your ballot has been counted yet. We have a link to that on our website.
And let's get a check-in on the weather now with Dave. Dave, I think we can say it was literally freezing cold this morning.
It literally was.
Okay.
Every place. Let's take a look at the low temperatures this morning. In the Arrowhead of Minnesota, a lot of 20s, down to 23 International Falls, 24 for Hibbing, but a little bit warmer towards Solon Springs and Hayward, and nationally at 30, 34 around Ironwood. It's almost as warm as the 35 in Watersmeet. Frankly, we'll be just as cold tomorrow morning, so we're facing another slew of advisories for frost and warnings for freezing thanks to cool high pressure that's come in from Canada. To the west, though, there is a warm-up coming our way. I don't think it'll be with us tomorrow or even for the weekend, but by Monday, it should bring us back to the 70s for a couple of days. So what do we get for Friday? Well, our day planner says, thanks to the high pressure, it'll be a fairly clear sky all day long. We start with frost region-wide, low 30s for many of our towns, and then we finish in the upper 50s, which is cooler than the normal of 65, but we could go to normal for the weekend and then warmer than normal by Monday. We'll talk about how long that could stick around and what's to follow, and any rain chances we may get, all coming up in just a few more minutes.
Thanks, Dave. A new CDC study that could have major implications on the way COVID-19 is treated is underway right here in Duluth. St. Luke's Hospital is one of 6 organizations across the country asked to participate in the RECOVER study. CBS3's Emma Quinn shares more about it and what it means for St. Luke's.
St. Luke's Hospital will soon be at the forefront of battling the coronavirus. 500 hospital employees will be participating in a CDC-funded study called the RECOVER study, all in an effort to answer many of the nation's biggest questions.
Can you get sick twice? If you get sick before, are you protected? Is it antibodies that protect you? The thing we keep talking about being in the blood.
Dr. Harmony Tyner, an infectious disease specialist, presented her own study design to the CDC at the beginning of the pandemic.
We connected with this larger study which has the identical objectives.
St. Luke's then became one of 6 organizations to join the study. Participants will take a weekly COVID-19 test and blood draws throughout the study. Tyner says these results could also help with vaccine development.
If we can find out that if you have antibodies and they don't last very long, that might tell us more about how a vaccine may help, protect you as well.
Dr. Tyner says she is ready and excited to be able to bring this important study to the area and help those across the world.
It feels like we're doing something here in our town that's going to make a difference for the entire world. It feels like a thing much bigger than us.
The study includes healthcare workers because they are the most exposed to COVID-19 patients. The study will finish up in May.
The man injured in an officer-involved shooting in downtown Duluth has hired an attorney.
Police responded to several 911 calls Saturday night about a possible domestic assault at an apartment. When police arrived, officers said they heard 2 gunshots, and a witness reported hearing a loud noise from inside. BCA officials say at some point, Officer Tyler Liebfried fired his gun into the apartment door. He hit 23-year-old Jared File in the shoulder. File was taken to the hospital and eventually arrested, but police announced the very next day he would not be charged. The BCA reports no shots were fired from inside the apartment.
In a statement today, File's attorney said his client is fortunate to be alive and he's focused now on recovering. The attorney said File hopes this incident will further the conversation on what he called appropriate police response, training, and reform. File's attorney said he wouldn't comment on if they're going to file a lawsuit.
Officer Liebfried has been with the Duluth Police Department for 5 years. He's on standard administrative leave while the BCA investigates. Meanwhile, Duluth police are investigating another shots fired incident which happened last night. It happened near the 100 block of the East No. 4 alley around 8 p.m. Officers found evidence but no suspects, and no injuries have been reported. This follows what Duluth police reported is an upward trend in shooting incidents so far this year. In 2020, they've responded to 26 shooting incidents. In all of 2019, there were only 22.
The Twin Port shipping industry is weathering the storm as the pandemic takes its toll. According to the Duluth Seaway Port Authority, shipping saw an early surge this summer, but tonnage through the ports of Duluth Superior slowed in August. During a mid-season tonnage report today, officials said total tonnage is down 31% from this time last year. The decline was mostly in coal and iron ore, with the COVID-19 pandemic shuttering industrial facilities and reducing demand for electricity and steel. The Seaway Port Authority's executive director says in recent memory, she can't recall such a harsh decline.
No one was expecting the pandemic, but the port is weathering the storm pretty well. And as we're recovering, you're seeing the blast furnace utilization rate recover, you're seeing production recover, and along with that, the cargoes are starting to recover, but we're not going to make up time. We can't make up the time that we've lost.
On a more positive note, officials say outbound grain and inbound wind energy cargoes are above average as compared to this time last year.
Some good news for Minnesotans. The unemployment rate continues declining. New numbers from the state's deed office shows the rate was about 7.5% at the end of August, with more than 40,000 jobs added. That's down from the yearly high of nearly 10% at the height of the pandemic. The state is about 1 point ahead of the national average of 8.4%.
The Twin Ports will be getting its first medical marijuana dispensary this fall. Green Goods is expected to open off Miller Trunk Highway in Hermantown in November. Company reps say they chose the area because there's not another medical marijuana dispensary nearby. The closest one is in Hibbing, with several others in the Twin Cities area.
Still to come on Live Local CBS 3, dozens of wildfires are still burning in the western part of the country. Stay tuned to learn how one Northlander is lending a helping hand.
We're on day 2 of 3 of a cold snap. Today's high, 57, is 8 degrees cooler than normal. Another chilly one tomorrow, especially in the morning, but then we'll moderate for the weekend and go towards the warmer side of life come Monday. We'll talk about that timeline coming up after our break.
Live, local, CBS3 News at 6 with Kristen Vaki, Anthony Matt, Kelly Hinson, and weather with meteorologist Dave Anderson on Live, local, CBS3. Watch Jeopardy at 4:30, followed by CBS3 Live at 5 on Live, local, CBS3.
Welcome to Medical Insight, a weekly healthcare feature brought to you by the experts at Essentia Health. Here's your host, Louis St. George.
Today on Medical Insight, Essentia Health physical therapist Ron Winans tells us how the Spinex rehabilitation program is helping patients restore neck and back strength.
We incorporate some strength and conditioning, cardiovascular, stretching, home program, and a routine here in the physical therapy department. We're here also to help decrease their fear, return to their activities recreationally, work, home, yard work, anything they need. We cater their program to themselves. So someone comes in with back and neck pain. It is a head-to-toe project. We do initial evaluation. We find out where they're at, not where they should be at for height, weight, age, female or male. We find out where they're at. If you're 6'5", 350 pounds, that's who you need to be strong enough for. So we got to find out where you're at. 80% of sports injuries are training errors, so we have to find out what's their flexibility, range of motion, and then progress there.
The Spinex program is 2 days a week for 6 to 8 weeks. Winans says a successful outcome is when patients can increase their activity without fear.
We're here to re-educate the back and neck, increase their range of motion flexibility. Once we have that, then we can start building on the strengthening component. So it is, again, tailored to the individual, and obviously as they build confidence and decrease fear to their return to activities, I want to hear that they can do stuff they hadn't been able to do, and that's what we typically see. In the last 11 to 12 years, we've seen close to 2,500 patients with an 80% successful rate.
For Medical Insight, I'm Louis St. George.
This Medical Insight was brought to you by Essentia Health. To learn more about the services we offer, visit essentiahealth.org.
The chief actuary of the Social Security Administration just released an analysis of Trump's planned cuts to Social Security. Under Trump's plan, Social Security would become permanently depleted by the middle of calendar year 2023. If Trump gets his way, Social Security benefits will run out in just 3 years from now. Don't let it happen. Joe Biden will protect Social Security.
I'm Joe Biden, and I approve this message.
CBS3 News is brought to you by Duluth Casino. Watch Jeopardy at 4:30, followed by CBS3 Live at 5 on Live, local, CBS3. Now, the CBS3 Duluth WeatherMax forecast with meteorologist Dave Anderson.
Well, here we go again. Another chilly one overnight tonight through tomorrow morning, and a slew of advisories and warnings for the cold. We have a freeze warning for much of the interior part of the Arrowhead of Minnesota, and then a good slice of Wisconsin and all of the UP getting that freeze warning as well. Right down the middle here, we've got the North Shore and the head of the Lakes region facing a frost advisory. So, like I said at 5 o'clock, if you just happen to still have crops in the garden that could survive this and have survived the last couple of days here and the last couple of weeks, frankly, since September started, well, do what you have to do. This should be the last round of freeze warnings for at least a week ahead, because a warm-up will start to work our way, of course, after tomorrow. Well, what are we getting right now? At the airport in Duluth, the current conditions say it's 54 degrees. 28% for the relative humidity is pretty low. Northerly, northwesterly wind at 7 miles per hour. It's helping egg on the chill at least a little bit. And our air pressure, just a bit high, all right, at 30.31 inches of mercury. Okay, temperatures in the region. A little bit brisk in the Upper Peninsula, 48 Ironwood, 50 for Watersmead. A little bit warmer in Wisconsin, going from 52 in Solon Springs to a pair of 53s from Ashland down to Hayward. And 57 degrees is happening right now in Superior. Low to mid 50s around the Moose Lake Willow River area. And for the North Shore here, the temperatures are in the 40s at the tip of the Arrowhead here in Cook County, but then running low 50s from Silver Bay down towards Two Harbors. Mesabi Range, low 50s there as well. Vermilion Range, 50 straight up. And International Falls region, borderland, 53 degrees currently. Low temps tonight, just like this morning, Probably will fall into the 20s in parts of Minnesota and low 30s for the rest of the region. But then the warm-up should start to waft in for the weekend. Doppler map right now shows a couple of clouds trying to waft in over the dome of high pressure at the surface. A couple of little Virga East-style showers not quite touching the ground, trying to pop off. But with the higher pressure in place, yeah, it should be more dry than anything else. Next rain chance may not be with us until Sunday night, early Monday morning. Folks down in the south still looking at Sally, starting to plow through South Carolina, North Carolina, and parts of Virginia here. But by tomorrow, should be in the ocean and not a problem for any Americans anymore. For our region, up north, we're looking at that cool high pressure to hold on to us probably through Friday. And then a warmer low pressure system starts to edge towards us for the weekend, brings us back to normal for temperatures, gives us a slight rain chance Sunday night, Monday morning, and then by Monday through Wednesday, warmer conditions into the 70s. Forecast tonight in Minnesota calls for low temps to go from the 20s inland to 39 by the lake. Clear and cold in Minnesota and in Wisconsin and Michigan too, with low temps on that side of the border, 29 to 34. For tomorrow in Wisconsin and the UP, it'll be nice and sunny, but fairly cool, 55 to 60 for the high temp. And in Minnesota, about 55 to 61. Taking a look, though, at the extended forecast, we do get back into the 60s for Saturday, Sunday. Just a slight chance for the latter part of the weekend for a little rain. Then Monday through Wednesday, 70s. And Tony, Kristen, 75 looks to be the best day of the week. That'll be on Tuesday.
You know, it's kind of nice to this sort of roller coaster we're on, extreme colds and then warm-ups, because it eases you into the winter. You know, we know it's coming, so if we can kind of be eased into it, that's not so bad.
And then we ease ourselves into summer and ease ourselves into spring. It's always that hemming and hawing around here.
Silver linings.
Yeah,
thanks,
there we
Dave.
are.
More than 17,000 firefighters are on the front lines of dozens of wildfires burning across California.
CBS3's Leanne Valdez spoke to a pilot from right here in the Northland who's using his expertise to take down the flames.
Anytime we get some sun breaking through and an increase in temperature, we have seen an increase in fire behavior.
California fires are not giving anyone or anything a break.
The size of these fires is impressive, unbelievable.
One in particular, the Creek Fire, has destroyed 650 structures, according to data from the California state government. Moose Lake resident and aerial firefighting pilot Todd Olson has seen it firsthand.
It looks apocalyptic, you know, the thick smoke and poor visibility.
Olson has 30 years of pilot experience. He's been helping out the West Coast the past couple of weeks, trying to contain the massive flames.
There are people on the ground talking to people in the air that tell us where to put the retardant.
Olson's plane carries 3,000 gallons of retardant.
Our ultimate drop height is about 150 feet at 130 miles an hour.
Firefighter pilots aren't just fighting the fire, but low visibility too, says Olson.
Yeah, they'll see the tops of these smoke columns going to 40,000 feet. My whole time out here, I've been flying till dark usually.
Olson says this is a lot different from what he's used to.
It really challenges your skills, makes you use some pilot skills that you don't normally use in commercial aviation.
But it's worth it.
It's a great opportunity. I'm really thankful. I'm blessed to be able to do this, I think, in this part of my career.
Olson is set to come back home on Monday. He expects it won't be his last trip out west.
With hunting underway in Wisconsin, DNR officials are asking participants to help in protecting the deer herd from chronic wasting disease. The state's DNR says testing is critical in finding out where CWD occurs throughout the state. This year, officials are encouraging all hunters to take part, but particularly those in the northwestern and northeastern parts of the state. There are a number of ways to get your deer tested, including a new digital option for entering information after visiting one of the self-service or in-person sampling stations. All locations can be found on the Wisconsin DNR website.
Coming up in sports, Twins in an early one with the Chicago White Sox. Kelly has the details right after the break.
Get your new UTV from Duluth Lawn and Sport, the region's largest power sports dealer.
CBS3 live cams are brought to you by Kohler Chevrolet Buick GMC Cadillac. You're not just getting a car, you're getting Kohler.
Right now, millions of people and billions of devices are connected to the internet. Homes, businesses, hospitals, schools. The security and reliability of these connections are more important than ever. That's why at MediaCom, we've built a network to protect them. A network that sees threats, fixes problems before they occur, and keeps you going with 99.99% network reliability.
We can help you at Ketamine North Infusion Center.
I've been suffering from PTSD and anxiety for 17 years. It has helped tremendously more than the pharmaceutical medication I've been taking.
To learn more, visit us online. Be well with us at Ketamine North Infusion.
We pick up the phone because it's ringing. Hello, this is Sam. That's simple human sense.
Ask J3 Insurance in Duluth if auto owners make sense for you.
I'm Tina Smith, and I approve this message because building a strong economy requires creating more opportunities for more people by working together. That's why I passed a law with Republicans and Democrats to expand vocational and technical training in schools across Minnesota. And I'm working to create internships and apprenticeships in manufacturing, healthcare, and clean energy. Because not everyone goes to college, but everyone needs a good job to give them and their families good lives.
When COVID struck, President Trump took action, cut off travel from China, the source of the virus. Joe Biden criticized, politicized, attacked President Trump's leadership. And what does Biden now propose while the pandemic still smolders around the globe? Increasing refugees by 700% from the most unstable, vulnerable, dangerous parts of the world. America can't afford weak Joe Biden. Times like these call for real leadership.
I'm Donald J. Trump, and I approve this message.
I've got one for you. See, UCare, health plan demystifiers and sleeve roller uppers.
UCare, health plan demystifiers and sleeve roller uppers.
Sounds so good when you say it. 96% of all providers accept UCare because they rock so hard.
96% of all providers accept UCare because they ride so hard. Can we pull over?
What's our tagline?
UCare, people-powered health plan.
So good.
I was diagnosed with diabetes at 13, so I got to work. I'm Quinn Nystrom, and I became a national advocate. Went door to door in Brainerd, then St. Paul. Went up to Canada to bring back insulin for a fraction of what drug companies charge here. But Pete Stauber went to Washington and voted against making healthcare and prescription drugs more affordable. I approve this message because Minnesota can't afford Pete Stauber in Congress.
Watch Dave, Caitlin, and Austin for local weather you can trust on CBS.
The Twins, just one game back of the Chicago White Sox in the division, did a nice job of delaying their opponent of a playoff clinch last night. They need to do that same thing over again today. Twins closing out with the White Sox. And here's something you don't see every day, or maybe ever in the history of baseball, a player getting kicked out of a game after hitting a home run. Confusing? Well, basically, Josh Donaldson was mad about a questionable strike call, and in the same at-bat, Donaldson slams this solo shot of a home run. As he came home, the bringer of rain brought dirt upon the plate. Umpire Dan Bellino did not like that. Donaldson actually went back for more and was promptly removed from the game. I mean, it's a mic drop. Twins lost 4-3, but that's the kind of walk-off mic drop I strive for in my daily life. Now for the Minnesota Lynx, in an unprecedented and very different WNBA season that treks on in the playoffs down in the bubble, they fared pretty well, making the playoffs for yet another season and bringing in some pretty big postseason awards. Crystal Dangerfield becomes the second consecutive Lynx player to earn Rookie of the Year and is the first that wasn't drafted in the first round. Dangerfield was 11th in scoring in the entire league. She started 19 out of 20 games for Minnesota, leading in scoring and assists. After leading the squad to a 14-8 overall record, head coach Cheryl Reeve earned her 4th WNBA Coach of the Year award. Lynx are facing Phoenix tonight as we speak in the first round. Catch highlights tonight at 10. Now, for the first time in school history, the College of St. Scholastica has a top 30 honoree for the NCAA Woman of the Year award. Former goaltender Lexi Tomczyk officially advanced to the round of 30 today. She made the cut that originally started at 605 total athletes. All nominees have demonstrated excellence in academics, athletics, community service, and leadership. Tomczyk was a 4-year starter for the Saints and holds just about every record in goal. Yesterday, the Minnesota Wild made a surprising trade, sending their top-line center Eric Stahl to the Buffalo Sabres in exchange for Marcus Johansson. He grew up playing center, but has recently bounced back and forth between wing and center. He had 9 goals and 21 assists last year as a center in Buffalo. Wild general manager Bill Guerin says he plans on playing him as a center and that he felt the need to make some changes this offseason.
I definitely got more and more comfortable last year playing center. I think it took a while to kind of get used to it again. I really hadn't played center since my first few years in Washington. I grew up a centerman and kind of always been playing that position, but it took a little bit to get used to it. But I like playing center. It's, you know, it feels like I get involved a lot and get to play with the puck a lot too, which I like. And I'm up to play whatever they want me to play, and I'm just looking forward to it.
And another Vikings cornerstone is heading to injured reserve. Right guard Pat Elflein reportedly suffered a thumb injury today in practice and will now miss 3 weeks of the season based on the league's new COVID protocols. The Vikes will likely look to Drew Samea, a 4th-round pick by the Vikings in 2019 out of Oklahoma, to fill the role this Sunday against the Tennessee Titans. And that's going to do it for sports for now. We'll have more back here tonight at 10. Kristen and Tony, I'll send it back to you.
Okay, thanks, Kelly. Tonight on the CBS3 News at 10, a man loved by many. The community of Superior is honoring the life of Mark Locke, who suddenly passed away last week. Coming up tonight at 10, his children share about his life and the legacy he left behind.
And Dave's going to give us our final look at the weather. Another cold one on tap for us in the morning.
Yeah, more frost advisories and freeze warnings for everybody, but should be the last one for a little while because a warm-up will start to work our way for the weekend. But Friday remains on the cooler side for the morning start and the afternoon finish. Normal is 65. Saturday, we get perilously close to that. And then Sunday, we beat it by a little. Next rain chances Sunday night into Monday morning. It's only a 30% shot at showers. And then a warm-up comes for Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. We go back into the 70s for a trio of days before temperatures descend again, moving into Thursday. Now, we do need some rain. It's drought-like conditions for much of the area once again. I don't think we're going to get it this week. No, just a couple small chances for a pair of days, and then high and dry for a while.
All right, 7 days in September.
Looks
Not
nice,
too bad.
yeah.
Thanks for joining us.
I'm going to take the 10 off because my thumb hurts.
Oh, okay, sounds good.
We'll see you
later,
then.
Tony.